Hello everyone, myself Gitartho Bosho. I am a 4th year student studying BVSC in AH from Lakhimpur College of Veterinary Science. Today I will be speaking on the topic of bovine babesiosis. So these are the contents of my presentation. So let us begin with the introduction. Babesiosis is a protozoan disease affecting the red blood cells of the animal body. This disease is known by different synonyms such as red water fever and tick fever, since the main vector responsible for transmitting this disease is the ticks. Moving to the etiology, babesiosis is caused by an intraerythrocytic protozoan parasite, means that the parasite multiplies inside the RBCs. The parasite belongs to the genus Babesia. In case of cattle, there are two species of Babesia, which are Babesia bigemina and Babesia bovis. On the right hand side, you can see the slides showing Babesia bigemina and Babesia bovis inside RBC. Moving to the epidemiology, the disease is widespread in tropical as well as subtropical areas. The bovine babesiosis is more prevalent in adult cattle as compared to young cattle, although animals of all age groups are susceptible to the disease. Also, the main vector which is responsible for transmission of Babesia bovis and bigemina in cattle is the tick Boophilus species. It has been found that the exotic breeds of cattle, Bos taurus, are less resistant to Babesia as compared to the Indian breeds, which is Bos indicus. So in this picture you can see the Boophilus species ticks, which is the vector which is responsible for transmission of Babesia in cattle. Coming on to the transmission generally occurs when the larvae or nymph and adults of the infected ticks feed on the host. In case of Babesia bovis, the larvae can also spread the infection, whereas in case of Babesia bigemina, the adults spread the infection. Intrauterine infection have also been reported, but it is generally rare. Under field condition, it is observed that the rate of tick transmission of Babesia bigemina is higher as compared to Babesia bovis. So coming on to the pathogenesis, it begins with the entry of the organism through the bite of an infected tick vector. After the entry of the organism, it migrates through the blood circulation and enters inside the RBCs. Inside the RBCs it multiplies, as a result of which there is lysis of RBC and these parasites are released. The released parasites then infect the other RBCs and this cycle is repeated, as a result of which there is destruction of large number of RBC, which leads to hemolytic anemia. Now moving on to the clinical signs. The acute disease lasts for around 1 week, and the first important sign of this disease is fever around 106 or more than 106 degrees Fahrenheit, and it persists throughout the course of the disease. It is accompanied by other symptoms such as anorexia, increased respiratory rate, anemia, jaundice, muscle tremors, as well as weight loss. Hemoglobinemia and hemoglobinuria occur in the final stages of this disease, and these are some important clinical signs for diagnosing this disease. CNS involvement can also occur in case of Babesia bovis infections. If cows are pregnant and in late term of pregnancy, they may abort during Babesia, and in case of bulls, there may be temporary infertility due to the transient fever. Here in the first picture on the left hand side, you can see coffee colored urine, which is a very important clinical sign of babesiosis. And on the second picture, you can see an enlarged spleen or splenomegaly in a cow which is suffering with babesiosis. In this picture, you can see pale mucous membrane of a cow which is suffering from babesiosis. Now coming on to diagnosis. Diagnosis can be made based on the history and clinical sign such as coffee colored urine, and if there is presence of ectoparasites such as ticks on the animal. Confirmatory diagnosis can be done based on microscopic examination by blood smear and using Giemsa staining to identify the parasite. The species of Babesia can be differentiated by microscopic examination, or it can be determined by the use of ELISA and indirect fluorescent antibody test. Also, a commercially available ELISA which is produced for Babesia bigemina is available. Coming on to differential diagnosis, there are few hemoprotozoan diseases from which Babesia should be differentially diagnosed. These include anaplasmosis. In case of anaplasmosis, hemoglobinuria does not occur and the organism can be further confirmed by microscopic examination. In theileriosis, enlargement of lymph nodes is seen and it affects mainly white blood cells. Also, anemia is not a clinical sign in case of theileriosis. In trypanosomiasis, there is swelling of the lymph nodes, and also there are formation of chancres or inflammation of the skin. Coming on to the treatment, the diminazine acesurate and imidocarb dipropionate are the most commonly used drugs for treatment of babesiosis in cattle. In case of cattle, diminazine is given at a dose rate of 3.5 mg per kg body weight single dose intramuscularly, or imidocarb can be given at a dose rate of 1.2 mg per kg body weight for 7 days subcutaneously. Other drugs which are used are NSAID to reduce the temperature, corticosteroid to reduce inflammation, and fluid therapy to maintain the electrolyte balance in the body. If the animal is too anemic, sometimes blood transfusions are also necessary. Here are the pictures of some of the drugs with their brand names which are used for treatment of babesiosis. Imizet, Imizol, which are brand names of imidocarb dipropionate found commercially. We also have Berenil and Dizine, which are the brand names of diminazine acesurate available commercially. Coming to prevention and control. Vaccination using live strains of the parasite have been used successfully in a number of countries, and one vaccination is generally sufficient for immunity for the commercial life of the animal. But till date, there is no commercial vaccine available for babesiosis as of now. Also, the complete eradication of the tick vector can help in breaking the transmission cycle, since ticks are the main in the transmission of the disease. These are the different sources from which this presentation have been made. With this, we come to an end of the presentation. Thank you for watching this video. Stay safe. Have a good day.